This video is brought to you by Manscaped. More about them at the end of the video. Yeah, they're just getting all sorts of healthy. But you know who's not coming back, guys? Bruce Boudreau. The Vancouver Canucks fired him and hired Rick Tocchet. And also, we'll get to that little nugget you had on sent in our group chat too, Phil. But my last question is, the Canucks handled their coaching change the right way. Boys, I'll start this one, and I might as well.
Get the damn layup gif out.
Yeah. Well, I got this one for you. Because again, Jim Rutherford, seriously, you let him twist in the wind for days. He has to come out and say, "Oh, well, I'm still here. That's it." No, this is definitely a shot. What is Rutherford doing? And I can't even find it right now. I'm so annoyed. But look, Tocchet, it might be a good coach and might be the right guy for the job, which I hope he is. But Boudreau, he deserves more respect than what he was given the last month. So, Anthony, go ahead.
Yeah, it was bizarre is one way to put it, how they handled it. Wrong, distasteful. You can go reprehensible. You can go on and on. I don't know why they did that to him. It was so. It's not something usually your team makes a coaching change, and then you find a coach. The fact that they already had it publicized that Tocchet was going to be his eventual replacement, and just have him wonder, well, is it going to be now? Is it going to be now? Before I think the day or two before he got fired, even a little fun with it. It was reported that he wasn't on the ice for practice, and later on he kind of said, "Gotcha." When they talked to him, it was just so wrong for a guy from all counts, a really good person. You saw how choked up he got in his last couple of days. The fans with the Bruce, there it is in his last game. I think really, I don't know how many players on the Canucks will admit it vocally, but I would imagine a lot of them probably do not like how it was handled at all. But he handled it with class. He never kind of fired back. And I know for sure that he'll get another coaching job at some point. But yeah, shame on Jim Rutherford and the Canucks organization for the way they handled it, because he's not the Canucks problem. The Canucks problem falls squarely on Jim Rutherford for his roster construction and some of the choices he made. And Bruce Boudreau shouldn't have had to fall on the sword for it.
Yeah. And Phil, here's your easy button. Go ahead.
Where's my layup gif? So yeah, this is absolutely a shot. I know a team that plays in a big city that has a bunch of players that aren't producing to where they should offensively. Starts with an N and it ends with an S. There's also a Y somewhere in there. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the New York Rangers. Yeah, they could use a guy like Bruce Boudreau, because Gerard Gallant, whatever the hell he's doing with this offense, is just it needs to be a lot better. And I'm sure Bruce Boudreau's decision-making is probably a lot better than Gerard Gallant's. So I'll take him, and Bruce Boudreau would also fix a terrible power play that the Rangers would have. Getting back to the way that he was handled, I've never seen anything like this in my life. I've never seen a coach toil publicly with the ominous aspect of losing his job. What organization does it? I've never seen this in any sport. Never in any sport like this. So to the point where they you obviously hear, this such and such may be on the hot seat, but never when they have a replacement lined up for them. What are you doing, Rutherford?
It was literally the sword of Damocles hanging over his head the entire time.
Rutherford wins a couple of Stanley Cups in Pittsburgh, and then 1 year ago in Carolina, and he gets to sit there and then do this to a coach. Jim Rutherford, you are not a good general manager. You're not a good executive. I don't want to hear any of this crap. And
you know what's even worse?
People are
don't be surprised.
Awful.
Don't be surprised if Connor Bedard ends up going there.
No, I want nothing to do with Connor Bedard going to Vancouver after this treatment. This should be their punishment for the way that they treated Bruce. That should be karma. And you know what? I'm going to say this. I hope the Vancouver fans give Rick Tocchet a chance, because he deserves it. because all he's doing is coming in and just trying to do a job and trying to succeed as an NHL coach. And he's going to unnecessarily get a lot of flack from the Vancouver fan base because he has to be the guy to come in to this shit show, to this garbage, and try to pick up the pieces after the way that this organization completely mistreated Bruce Boudreau. Pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. I hope that, for Rick Tocchet's sake, he can get off to a good start. I know they beat the Blackhawks in his debut, but it would be nice. And you know what? It's funny that someone mentions Billy Martin and the Yankees. Billy Martin and George Steinbrenner had an interesting relationship, but it was never like this. Never like this. So
no, I mean, I'm trying to think of other ones that could have been like this in other sports. Wayne Fonts was given that. I think Jim Fossil was given something similar, not really sorted by the Maras, but where it was when he came out and I'm just thinking about him saying, we're going to make the playoffs. Everybody get on the train. And then they did
it. Rutherford blaming Elliot Friedman. How is Elliot Friedman getting that information? Let me ask you that. All right, so if they didn't hire Tocchet, okay, then you know what? Maybe it's Friedman just, stirring up and being a fire starter. Okay, but they hired Tocchet. So obviously someone in that organization leaked that information to Friedman for a reason. This one's on you, Jim Rutherford. You're trash. Absolute trash.
Yeah, and I got to agree with you on that one because, obviously I agree with it. We're all in agreement on this. Because how do you let a guy like Bruce Boudreau, as liked as he is in every NHL circle,
come to New York, Bruce? We'll give Gerard a nice Uber out of New York, and then you can come and take over and help us out on offense and with the power play.
Oh no, not again for Gerard Gallant. Everybody, thanks for joining us in the Big Apple Hockey Bar Talk, where we're gauging our confidence on NHL topics based on our choice of drink. We're going to do a quick news and notes and Q&A. Phil, you had a dandy of a note that you sent in to us in our group chat about Elias Pettersson.
Okay, so let me just pull this up because I want to make sure I have the date correct on this. So Michael Russo of The Athletic, who writes for the Minnesota Wild for The Athletic, this is the interesting part about it. And by the way, I was actually going to mention this because I saw the video on Twitter yesterday of Bruce Boudreau scoring his first NHL goal for the Maple Leafs against Jim Rutherford. And I believe that's the Red Wings at that time. Yeah. So
maybe that's why Jim Rutherford had problems with him.
Yeah, maybe that's why. Bruce pissed in his Wheaties 50 years ago. Great. So yeah, Michael Russo basically reports that Elias Lindholm is going to want to move on and that there's some behind the scenes stuff that are going to want to make him go elsewhere in the offseason. Now, I know it's weird to hear this from a Minnesota.
Wait, Elias Lindholm? You said Elias Lindholm.
Pettersson, sorry. Did I say Lindholm?
All right, yeah, you said Lindholm, yeah.
Yeah, sorry. Elias Pettersson. I don't know why I was thinking Lindholm. I must have just saw it on the screen or something. But yeah, so Pettersson could end up moving out. And if this is true, this is crazy. But I wonder if any of this has to do with Bruce Boudreau's the handling. And because if you're a player and you have an attachment to a coach like that, and by all accounts, he was well loved in that locker room from what I've heard. I mean, I'm only going on hearsay. The players absolutely seemed bummed out about it. So you know what? Maybe he was just a scapegoat, and maybe the players are now pissed about it. So this was found on. And I'm just going back to the date. So the post was on the 13th of January, but the actual post from Michael Russo was before that, and it doesn't say the date on air, unfortunately. But this is before Bruce Boudreau was fired, so that leads to believe that maybe something something was, something is linking these two incidents, maybe. And if that's the case, that is not good news for Vancouver. But if I'm a team like the Rangers, I'm going and offering Lafreniere and other assets up for Elias Pettersson, because he would absolutely help fix a lot of the Rangers' problems.
$7.5 million, I believe, for this year and next, for what he's got remaining on that new extension. Yeah, maybe not. Maybe a change of scenery is what's going to be good for him. Guys, girls love a man that's well groomed. So check out Manscaped and their family of products. They have you covered from head to toe, from the lawnmower to the weed whacker, because you don't want to look like a fuzzball. Go to manscaped.com, put in promo code BAH for Big Apple Hockey to get 20% off and free shipping.
Please like and subscribe to our channel. We have a lot of great hockey content and an entertaining interactive podcast. So check us out and our library of videos.
Your ideas are intriguing to me, and I wish to subscribe to your newsletter.